This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets. Iran said on Monday it is ready to ship more fuel to Lebanon if needed, a day after the leader of Lebanon's Iran-aligned Hezbollah group said more vessels carrying Iranian fuel would sail soon to help ease the country's fuel shortage. "We sell our oil and its products based on our own decisions and the needs of our friend. Iran is ready to send fuel again to Lebanon if needed," Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson Saeed Khatibzadeh said in an online weekly news conference. "Certainly we cannot see the suffering of the Lebanese people."
Moscow pledged retaliatory measures after a new set of sanctions imposed by the United States on a Russian ship and two companies involved in the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline, Russia's foreign ministry said in a statement on Saturday. The $11 billion project, which will double the existing Nord Stream pipeline across the Baltic Sea and allow Russia to bypass Ukraine when piping gas to Europe, has been a focal point of tensions between Moscow and Washington. Washington imposed the sanctions on Friday on a ship, its owner and a construction company, but opponents of the project said the measures were insufficient to stop it.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Oil prices rose more than 5% on Monday, recovering from a 7-day losing streak due to a weaker dollar and strength in global equities markets. Brent crude climbed $3.27, or 5%, to $68.45 a barrel by 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time, 16:40 GMT, after touching its lowest since May 21 at $64.60 earlier in the session. U.S. West Texas Intermediate, WTI, crude for October delivery rose $3.31, or 5.3%, to $65.45. Both benchmarks marked their biggest week of losses in more than 9 months last week, with Brent sliding about 8% and WTI about 9%.
U.S. energy companies are moving to require that employees receive COVID-19 vaccinations as infection rates rise across the United States, and energy workers, according to health surveys, remain among those most reluctant to get inoculations. Calls to require vaccinations for employees who work closely together in oilfield and refinery operations come as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Monday fully approved the Pfizer-BioNTech shot. The second largest U.S. oil producer, Chevron Corp., and refiner Valero Energy Corp. Will require jabs for certain field workers or new workers. Top oilfield services firm Schlumberger said last week some customers are requesting that its staff be vaccinated or tested before arriving on job sites.
Next, we have the top news in metal markets.
The EU is working on proposals to jump-start home output of a type of specialist magnet vital in electric car motors by offering support to local producers so they can compete with Chinese rivals, sources close to the situation said. The moves to support production of rare earth permanent magnets would mirror legislation introduced in the United States earlier this month to offer tax credits to makers of the devices there. The United States, the EU and Britain aim to expand output of the super-strong magnets used in electric vehicles, EVs, and wind turbines to help meet targets to cut carbon emissions and lessen dependence on China, whose producers currently dominate the global sector.
Chinese steelmakers Ansteel Group and Bengang formally began the process of merging their operations on Friday, the official Xinhua news agency reported, in a move that will create the world's third-largest producer of the metal. State-owned Ansteel is taking a 51% stake in smaller rival Bengang from the regional state assets regulator, with no money changing hands in a government-backed restructuring that is part of a drive to consolidate production in China's bloated steel sector. The merged entity, which will retain the Ansteel name, will have annual production capacity of 63 million tons of crude steel, Xinhua said, after combining the operations of the companies whose headquarters are only some 60 kilometers, 37 miles, apart in northeast China's Liaoning province. We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector. Raw sugar is forecast to end this year with an annual gain of more than 30% as a diminished outlook for production in Brazil helps swing the global market into deficit, a Reuters poll of 11 traders and analysts showed on Friday. Prices were seen ending 2021 at 20.5 cents per pound, up 4% from Thursday's close and 32% above levels at the end of 2020, according to the median forecast. White sugar prices were seen ending 2021 at $520 per ton, up 5% from Thursday's close and 24% above levels at the end of 2020.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.